Pollinator heaven. And this is why we are keeping the abundance of dill in this community garden. It really does attract a lot of pollinators, and it's not just bees, it's predatory wasps and other bugs that I don't know the name of. I'm not an entomologist. So good morning, everyone. It is Harvest Tuesday, and we are incredibly grateful to those who were able to come up today. It wasn't actually advertised. We have in past weeks, but I didn't really push that we were doing it today. It's hard to know what to do. Do you encourage people to come up in the smoky conditions? But yet, the food still needs to be harvested. Those people who can benefit from this food still need the abundance, and the work still needs to get done. So we had a really great turnout. So thank you so much to the volunteers who just kind of remembered that it's Harvest Tuesday and came up to lend a hand. We harvested beautiful potatoes today and a ton of greens, cucumbers and squash and carrots and beets and cabbages. So it's the garden is doing well, and that rain was so needed. It just washed things. There's still so much to do here. We have more planting that we want to do. So now that we're into August, we're going to start looking at some of those fall crops like spinach, maybe arugula. We'll see. We've had a lot of trouble with things like arugula and tatsoi and bok choy because of flea beetles, but we might try again if we can get some netting. We are having some issues with aphids, and so we're trying to manage that. But what I'm seeing, this filtered UV light is definitely affecting crops. I feel like we need some liquid fertilization. I'm gonna maybe bring some of my comfrey tea. So I've got this stinky brew of fermenting comfrey leaves in liquid at my home garden, and so that could maybe come and be a spray that could be applied to the plants. And it comes down to trying to create resiliency, boost their nutrition so that they are better able to maybe withstand the damage that can be done. Aphids, I'm going to be going through the garden right now and spraying with the hose and just trying to knock them off. If you feel like you can spend some time up at the garden through the week, what we would love to have happen is just going through and cleaning up some of the debris, cleaning up some of the dying leaves, anything that's yellowing or just not looking good, getting rid of that because that decay can attract more pests too, and just cleaning it up. We have a huge pile of compost back there, and even having a few loads of compost brought and dumped at a few places along the garden allows someone, if they came here, to get a smaller bucket and go in a row and add some compost to some of these growing plants, especially things that are a bit bigger, things that we want to keep producing, peppers and tomatoes, and if they're starting to look a little sad, getting some nutrition on it can definitely help. So, cleaning up, getting rid of any, too big of weeds that are in, and definitely weeding too. Certainly weeding needs to be done in and amongst the crops. Some of our chard plants are actually a little bit too closely planted together. So even some thinning of chard plants, and then, just take them home. The kale was thinned, but we're just going to have to go through. And if you were to see a leaf that was like heavily infested with aphids, you could remove it and get rid of it. And the water, will just continue to just watch. Lots of humidity right now. That rain, we're going to leave the water off. Tomatoes are very slowly ripening. The squash are forming. Potatoes, every week we'll just continue to harvest a row. And then we'll just keep, every time we clear a row of something, we will get it ready, smooth it out, get some compost on the drip line, and then get some seeds in the ground. So we will plan to have a work bee on Saturday but we understand that the smoke can be challenging, and so it really has to be up to your discretion on how much time you want to spend, if you can, and for how long, and anything is acceptable to us. So we typically do, you know, 9 till noon, but you know, whatever time you have to be able to give, just to help the garden grow, and let's keep, you know, see how much food we can grow from this garden for as long as possible. And it really is a labor of love, and we do really good work here, and so we thank all our volunteers who come up and lend a hand to the garden and produce this beautiful food.